Hi, welcome to the Academy. This is my first video, and the first video will be on water fasting. I got some questions from you on Instagram, and I decided I'll put everything I know about water fasting and everything I've done into one video so you can get all your information here. Now, my history with water fasting. I just finished 48-hour water fast. This is not my first rodeo. I've done it before. I've done it when I probably shouldn't do it because my body was so drained and so weak that it could have actually made me potentially worse. I've started about 5 years ago. And what I would do is I would do a 1 day fast of 24 hours per week. And I've done it for a year. Did my digestion improve? Slightly. But like I said, that was before I did parasite cleanses. I supported my detox properly. I did herbal protocols to heal my gut. As you know, I was suffering with severe bloat. If you scroll on my Instagram page, you're going to see I have a lot of videos of how I went from being super bloated to flat tummy, which is amazing at 44. No exercise will get you there. And many other things like I was depleted of my nutrients. I was super low in vitamin C. Without vitamin C and vitamin D, which was very low for me, there's no healing in the body. The body just doesn't have the tools to heal. And I was doing a water fasting. So I was taking away even more. And I'm going to talk about the mistakes that I did. But first, let's get into water fasting. The purpose of water fasting is to induce autophagy. That is a process of self cleaning. So basically, if you don't provide any calories into the body, after 16 hours, the digestion shuts off. And when a digestion shuts off, your body basically starts to clean itself. And that process is called autophagy. There's a Japanese scientist who won a Nobel Prize for this discovery. The peak of autophagy is at 48 hours. This is why ideally I wanted to do 72 hours, but because my duties of a mother didn't allow me, I did as much as I could, which was 48 hours, which was Saturday and Sunday. Before you consider a water fast, talk to your doctor, talk to your practitioner. Like I said, if you have nutritional deficiencies, if you don't have enough minerals, if you're out of vitamin D, and most of us are, you may get actually worse. So this is not for everybody. You actually have to be healthy to do a water fast, because if you are depleted of minerals, of energy, of fluids, then guess what? Your body is going to be drained even more. And that's what was happening to me 5 years ago. Now, the reason I did a water fast is because I developed a pinched nerve in the middle of my back, which was kind of coming up, up, up. And the pain was so bad, guys, that I couldn't lean back. When I was leaning back, the pain was paralyzing me. Like this is how bad it was. So I've done everything that I know to do, right? I've done cupping, I've done red light therapy, I use my Chinese tapping tool, which basically I beat myself up with, and it worked for a little bit, but it kept on coming back. So I decided, okay, I need to help my body to do the healing. So I'm going to take away the energy from digestion and give it for the processes of healing. And guess what? 48 hours later, there's no back pain. Like I can move my arms, I can move my back. There's nothing. And there's more benefits that I will discuss with you later. But that was my main reason for doing it. I don't just do water fasting out of nothing. I don't think they are necessary. They are an amazing spiritual practice. If you want to get deep within yourself, then this is definitely for you. Now, before you start with water fasting, I do consider micronutrient testing. I've done them a while back, and it did tell me I was severely low in vitamin E, vitamin A, vitamin D, and vitamin C, and vitamin B6, B2, and B9, and of course B12. So I knew exactly what I had to supplement and how much. Now, in order to know how much to supplement, because I do not trust the recommended daily dose, I read a book by Dr. Rath entitled Why Don't Animals Get Heart Attacks, but People Do? It's a wonderful book. It's available Amazon. It's a great investment in yourself. This book tells you everything, and I personally use what I learned there, and I've never been better. Yeah. Next, diet. Why is diet important? Because if you eat diet high in carbs, oh, you're gonna crave them. Oh my goodness, you're gonna crave them. This is what happened to me 5 years ago. I would get hunger pains. I would get angry, irritated. Why? Because my breakfast back then, because I went through it all, guys. I mean, I went through, I think every single diet is out there to find what works for me. And what I ate back then was like oats with fruit and honey. So I would eat carbs with carbs with carbs. And then when I stopped eating, right, because, and of course it would cause my insulin to rise, I would develop insulin resistance. And then when this spike of glucose was coming down, oh my God, I was just craving stuffs. Oh, it was so bad. I did not have that this time. Why? Because I start my day with protein, fats, and I started with some vegetables, but non-starchy carbs, basically. I stopped eating yeast because it turned out that I am histamine intolerant. So I prepared my body by being on low histamine diet. So what is a low histamine diet? Low histamine diet is anything old. Think like fermented foods, pickled, anything in the can, like salami, anything that is like cured, smoked, an old food that can last a long time, that will cause a histamine response. One of my main signs of histamine response was always having blocked sinuses. Another one was allergies, food intolerances, gaining water weight, yeah, headaches. I mean, there's a whole list. I'm going to do a video about it. But because I was on low histamine diet, it was very easy for my body to adapt to the fasting. Not once in 48 hours was I hungry, which was super weird because I usually felt that, I'll have my breakfast. I usually do the 8-16. I usually do the 8 hours of 8 hours window of eating, and then I fast for 16 hours, right? But so I usually thought that I'm hungry like after 5 hours. It turns out it's not hunger. It's just we're so used to eating 3 meals a day. I eat two, but we're so used to having breakfast, lunch, dinner because someone told us that, guys, we completely mixed our hunger with appetite. In 48 hours, I was not hungry once. What does it mean? That means that your digestion takes usually 16 to 18 hours from the first time you take a bite. So literally for 18 hours, you're not allowed to feel hunger because your body's still processing that food by the time, you poop. And yeah, we're going to talk a lot about bowel movements because it's all part of being human. Next, high quality water with electrolytes. This is something you have to know about water fasting. When I first started 5 or 6 years ago, I was drinking plastic water, purified, the one with no minerals in it. And unfortunately, I didn't know back then that if you drink water with no minerals, it will literally deplete your own minerals in order for your body to process it. Oh, yeah. So now it's just spring water, and I was using extra electrolytes. I like Redmond's, the non-flavored electrolytes. I was adding pinches of sea salt into my water, and I was fully hydrated. But yeah, water quality matters. You could have coffee or tea during your fast. Coffee, no sugar, of course, no carbs. We're not adding any carbs. And no milk and high quality coffee. You have to understand that unless your coffee has been triple tested for mold, it has mold in it. In the States, we have no regulations against mold in coffee. I drink King Coffee from Organo. There's a link in my bio on Instagram where you can also get it. It's a triple tested coffee for mold, and it's also with reishi spores. So it's actually good for the liver because reishi spores help calm down the liver. Tea, any tea you would like, as long as it's herbal. If you like caffeine, you can have it in the morning. If you don't, go for something like mint or nettle in the evening. Next, if you plan on doing a fast, you have to understand that your body will have to adapt to the process. So I wouldn't start with 48 hours or 70. My goal is to do a 72-hour cleanse. I would start with what I did, 8-16. Then once a week, I would add the 24-hour and see how I feel. For me, it's so weird for my body that I have to rest. Like literally my thinking slows down. I'm not tired, but I'm just like it almost feels like being tired. And so some people get more tired than others. It really depends on your insulin sensitivity. So knowing that you're going to be fasting and having full day of work and going to work out, doing this may be too much. So I always leave it for the weekend. Next, I want to discuss with you the fact that I was not hungry at all. 48 hours, zero hunger. And when I started eating after that, it felt weird. It felt like, oh, interesting. Like at one point, I was just like so bored. I was watching food videos and I was thinking to myself, how did Jesus do it? Because he fasted for 40 days. Like, I like to eat. Eating makes me happy. I'm not a food junkie, but I do like to cook my food at home. I like to know what's in my food. I'm very precise about that. And I was like, oh my goodness, like if you don't eat, it's like you're losing half of yourself. But that's also programming. That's how they programmed us to think. Moving on, benefits. So the benefits, of course, the nerve pain in my back is completely gone. I was told it's a pinched nerve, and for a pinched nerve, you need a surgery. But guess what? I've had them before, and they always went away. It's how my body detoxes whatever it still needs to detox. My detox is impaired because I was born with MTHFR gene mutation, and as it turns out, DAO mutation, and I just don't detox as effectively as other people. So I have to support my detox at all times. And we used to live in mold for 10 years. And guess what? We've been out of that house for 3 years, so I still have a lot of detox to do, and it literally felt like mycotoxins were leaving my nervous system within my spine. That's what it literally felt like. Another wonderful benefits is I started the fast when I started my luteal phase, and severe breast pain, like severe breast pain every month. Usually I have it every month because of high estrogen that I have because of high histamines and high stress. Within 48 hours, the breast pain completely went away. Completely. Like it's gone, which is to me like, whoa, I usually have this pain for 7 days until the first day of my period. Completely gone. Okay. The sleep, super deep. Oh my God. It felt like such an amazing quality sleep. I didn't change anything about my sleep. If I use my phone, I still use my blue light blocking glasses before I go to bed. But it was just divine. I can't name it any other way. Divine. Super calm mind. Like any anxiety I might have had disappeared because, like, you realize that you're all you need. It's like you're in this world where they tell you that food is, required. And you're like, no, it's not. I survived and I was fine and I wasn't even hungry. And then my body just magically started healing the things that were bothering me with. Yeah, it gives you a lot to think about. It's like a journey within because suddenly you start to question things. You're like, if this isn't true, what they told us, and they told us I have to eat every day, what else isn't? You know what I mean? I lost 3 pounds of water weight. Yeah. So that's not all the inflammation. I carry much more water inflammation within my body. Again, histamine intolerance. That means it's almost like mass activation syndrome because mast cell activation syndrome, because it's like my allergies just come out of nowhere. Like I'd get rashes, I'd get runny nose, I'd get itchy, red, teary eyes. I could eat anything, well, I didn't know about high histamine foods and foods that actually impact the way histamine is released in the gut. And I started doing, proper probiotics and proper herbs for the histamine release to kind of balance it off. And a huge improvement, amazing improvement. But yeah, I carry about 6 pounds of water still left within like I can feel it because it's when you touch the skin and it bounces back, that could be water. I'm not saying it is in me. And then magically, after 2 days of water fasting, my sugar cravings went away. They're just gone. And this actually is a part of the benefit that is discussed widely on internet, that it improves your insulin sensitivity. And because of my poor diet, because of all of my genetic mutations, I've developed insulin resistance a couple of years ago. And it was very hard for me to balance my sugar, my glucose levels, really hard. I absolutely love Glucose Goddess. She helped me a lot, but still, it was all over the place. Like I could be stressed and my glucose would just jump up. I didn't know what it was caused by. Now I know. So yeah, no doctor ever checked me for histamines. If you have allergies, I would ask a doctor to check histamines from urine and from your fasting serum. The mistakes I did before when I was water fasting. So I did a water fast before I did a parasite cleanse. I have a lot of information on parasites on my website. I do have a masterclass. I am a Cellcore Biosciences practitioner, and if you are interested in working with me and you become my client, you get that masterclass for free. Everything you need to know about parasites in over 2 hours. Yes, I was severely infested with parasites because my detox is impaired, and my immunity was lowered because of my high stress levels, and thus the infestation, because our immune system is normally fighting them. And when you have parasites and you water fast, that's where the hunger pain come from. They are literally calling for you to eat because they need to steal your nutrients. So if you're not providing any nutrients to your body, I got like muscle spasms, I got like abdominal pain, I was nauseous, like a lot of symptoms. That's not supposed to happen during a water fast. Water fast is supposed to be nice and calm. There's supposed to be zero pain. If you feel any pain, there's something deeply wrong and you should stop and contact your doctor. There should be no pain. It should be a very pleasant experience. So yeah, I was also very angry and sweating a lot before the parasite cleanse. Yep. The cleanse that I did was all herbal, systemic, amazing. Now, the mistake that I did before that I already talked about was the high carb diet. Depending on your diet, I'm not sure if you know how to count your macros, but if you eat high calorie diet and you eat a lot of carbs, you're gonna crave them. Because the more carbs we eat, the more we crave them. The more the body is relying on using the carbs for energy instead of your own fat stored within, your own glucose stored within your fat. So depends on that, the body does the burning. So when you stop eating and you start a water cleanse, the body has no source of energy. So it then changes direction of the energy and uses whatever fat you have stored, because that's the source of the glucose that it can use for energy. And some of us have it more, some of us have it less. Now, digestion requires energy. When we eat, notice when we eat, we're not energetic. We need to allow our body to process the food. I learned a huge deal about this from Wallace D. Wattles. He has an amazing set of books. Check it out. His most famous book is The Science of Being Rich, Science of Being Well, Science of Being Healthy. Amazing information, just amazing. And he talks a lot about water fasting as well, and how we just don't allow our body to do the work anymore. We're so dependent on going to a doctor that we don't even take into consideration that we can take some, I'm not saying all, but some matters into our own hands. And that's what happened to me, guys. Severe nerve pain in my back. I didn't go to a doctor, but it's me, right? I'm a health coach. I went to medical grad school. I know my information. I know a lot about my health because I stay interested in my health. Next, I want to talk to you about the benefits that are mentioned when you do a regular online search. So they say, and I don't necessarily agree with it, that it's good for weight loss. I'm sorry, but it doesn't shape your body. It just doesn't. It will not make your muscle grow. And people who stay on a water fast for too long, they lose muscle tissue because the body also will clean out whatever is within the muscles. So, and then it's so easy. Once you start eating, it's so easy to gain everything back because the weight that we lose is the water and the glycogen. And so the moment we start eating it back, we gain it all back. So I don't use it as a tool to lose weight. I was glad that it helped me to lose the inflammation that I was carrying, and I still carry some more. But yeah, that's not a tool. Diet is your number one. Counting your macros, definitely, yes. And then addressing your emotions, of course, because the body reflects what we think. Oh, there's going to be so many videos about that. Improved insulin sensitivity. I do agree with that. Yes. Because normally we as humans, we're not supposed to crave sweets. We're just not. We're supposed to crave building blocks. What are we made of? We are not made of carbs. We are made out of proteins, amino acids, fats. We need that in order to constantly rebuild ourselves, which is our metabolism. That's not donuts, that's not croissants, none of those things. So if we have cravings for those, that's what it is. It's a craving, it's an appetite. If you were truly really hungry, you'd be thinking about protein, eggs, meats, something healthy. And then they say it helps reduce inflammation. I do agree with that. Yes, because it helped me get rid of some of my inflammation. Not all of it, but it's just a process. And then it helps with detox. Yes, it does. So is it good for a person with histamine intolerance? So I was actually at a crossroads because there's 50-50 chance. There's literally 2 studies on animals that show that it's either effective or harmful. So they did a study on animals, water fasting, and those animals, their inflammation went up because the hunger caused them stress, and when your cortisol rises, your histamine can rise, potentially giving you more inflammation. But then the other study suggested that the inflammation goes down because the body adapts. But again, we're so bio-individual that it all depends. But my back pain was so severe that I was like, I'm risking it. I just don't care. I'm risking it. And I did. And literally within probably 12 hours, most of the pain was gone. Then the next day it came back for a little bit, then it was gone again. Seriously. So this tells me that it helped my body with detox. But again, I stayed highly hydrated because one of the side effects of water cleanse is dehydration, loss of nutrition, which will result in malabsorption, malnutrition. So there's potentially a lot of risks if you are not hydrated well. This is all I have for you about water fasting. Again, if you have any questions, I am available on Instagram, Universal Mama Lena Academy, and you are welcome to check all my information there. I will have a video about water fasting. I already have one. So if you scroll down, you will see there is a video about it. There's a post about it. I also have a highlight of histamines if you are interested in that subject. Have a wonderful day, guys.